without further ado, let's welcome to the stage the man you've been waiting for, Mel Herbert.
The new group of educators we have now are better than me, are better than my generation. They're the best, because we taught them. And every teacher hopes that the next generation is better than them. That's the best thing that can happen in your career, and I'm just so excited by where emergency medicine is, not just in this country, but in countries all over the world. So I thought, okay, so what is my role now? If I'm transitioning to a new role, what is that role? And I've decided that it's not fair what you've done here. What we have at Essentials, at Hippo and at MRAP, is we've created one of the greatest educational enterprises in medicine and in the world. And every time I listen to it and every time I see it, I think it's not fair, it's not enough. This has to go to the rest of the world. We have to start teaching the rest of medicine how to do this, but that's not enough. We have to start educating the entire planet about science, about medicine, about philosophy, about what it means to be human, about what you guys do. And so that's my job now. That is my most important job for however long I've got left. So we started this company, it's called Foolyboo. It's a non-profit organization, or it will be once the paperwork goes through, it takes a long time. And our job here is that we're going to create a series of educational podcasts for the world that do lots of different things, that talk about medicine, that talk about science, that talk about the Supreme Court, that talk about science education for kids in the same format that you've seen in Essentials and MRAP and all these things. And we are so super excited about it. We already have 3 or 4 of them up. One of them that you might find particularly interesting is one that I do with Jess Mason. Jess is a resident, and she is spectacular. And we're doing a show called This Won't Hurt a Bit. It's actually got released on iTunes on Monday. So you should all run after this is over and sign up on iTunes and tell us how good we are and put a rating on there. And as of yesterday, we were #1 in science and medicine, new and noteworthy. We're trying to get up there and become the radio lab of educating the world on science and medicine and humanity. So we're really, really excited about it. So on that note, I want to do something that is really stupid and I've never done before, and it's really hard, and I've been in my room trying to make it work, and we're going to see if it works here. But you're going to have to forgive me if I screw it up, because it's a whole new way of doing a talk. So on This Won't Hurt a Bit, we're going to tell a lot of stories. We're going to be telling stories that you've told us. We're going to be doing a lot of other stuff. So this is a story that just will be on in the next few weeks on the program. And so I want to try and do this for you now, if you'll allow me to do that. Are you ready? Let's do a live audio podcast with visuals. God help me.
My family, I have two younger daughters, 2 and 5 years old, and my wife. We were at a friend's house, and we were there kind of for like a celebration kind of day. She has a really nice big house. She invited a bunch of friends over and their families. And
that's Jason Hell. He's a really famous guy in the world of the internet. He's a producer at Twit. This happened to him 2 weeks ago.
You know, a very nice big swimming
Can we bring the
pool
slides up?
Of which we were taking advantage and swimming and eating and all that all throughout the day. And I guess it was starting to get a little bit darker outside. We'd had a lot of fun all day long, very loose by that point. And I decided to go ahead and get in the pool and swim some laps. I don't really normally swim laps. I had a shoulder surgery years ago, and pretty much had just my experience in the pool has been, I can swim, I can keep myself afloat, but doing true laps, doing the motion of swimming laps doesn't really come very natural to me. But earlier that day, I realized if I was wearing goggles, for some reason it made it easier, because I could kind of focus on swimming and not worry about, my contact lenses falling out of my eyes or whatever. So I was like, all right, I think I'm going to jump in and do that.
So this is really unusual for Jason. He doesn't swim much, and just by chance, out of the blue, he decides he's going to get in the pool, and he's going to go for a swim.
There on the other side of the pool, on the very bottom of the pool, was kind of a blackish form. I couldn't really tell if it was furniture or if it was a body or what it was, but all I know is my immediate instinct was to swim as fast as I could underwater and get to whatever it was and check it out.
You know where this is going?
I did think for a second that it could be a person, absolutely. I know that at that point adrenaline probably just rushed right into me because my immediate reaction was to get over there and do whatever needed to be done. Stayed underwater. It was not difficult to hold my breath the entire way. I swam from one side of the pool to the other, got closer. My immediate reaction was, okay, that's not one of my daughters, but it is a boy. It was basically our friend's young son. He's probably, I think he's 3 or 4 years old.
His name was Emmett.
He was lying on the bottom of the pool in a way that somebody would be lying on a bed. It was just lying face down, completely still, right near the drain at the bottom of the pool, completely lifeless. And so I swam down to him and lifted him up and, surfaced, came up above the water, and just my reaction was to yell as loud as I could repeatedly, help, I need help, right now, help, 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 help. Just that word, repeat that word, and someone's gonna realize I'm not joking and I'm saying something very serious. And his parents, his mom is a nurse, his dad works in fitness. They were very close nearby. They were within 10 feet or so. So immediately after yelling help for a few seconds, they were pulling him out of my arms and laying him on the side of the pool. They pull him out of my arms and he's like a rag doll. He was grayish blue, I would say, if even blue. It was really just kind of a total gray color to his skin. And, visibly you would look at him and you would immediately think, that boy is dead.
And we know how this goes. What follows next is a funeral and grief that we can't possibly understand. It's horrible. Except, not this time. Not this time.
His parents proceeded to administer CPR. He lied on the side of the boy to be the one to kind of give him breath as needed. And she, who's the nurse, she was on top of the boy doing the chest compressions. And super obvious that they knew what they were doing, right? Because they had their system down. I mean, immediately they kind of took their spots. She immediately started doing chest compressions at a very, pretty rapid pace, counting to 30 loudly. 1, 2, 3, 4, going through the whole process. At 30, she yelled, breathe. And he knelt down and gave 2 to 3 breaths, and she continued.
And they continued for a minute. Nothing. 2 minutes. Nothing. But at 3 minutes into the resuscitation of their own child, this happens.
He had the little twitchy motion, to which I specifically remember yelling out, holy crap, he's moving, he's moving. And then to see him vomit, it was the most beautiful vomit in the world. Not to make light of it, but you see that and you realize, like, okay, it's working. His parents are literally bringing him back to life from death. Learning CPR and understanding the process of CPR is not hard, and it does not take a lot of time. It's a skill that you can learn relatively quickly, and in many cases completely free. And that basically what you're giving yourself is a Superman cape. You're giving yourself the power to resurrect somebody from death to life. If everybody knew how to do that, man, just think of the amount of lives that would be saved.
Hands up if you can do CPR. For the people in this room, CPR is a skill that is just like breathing. You don't even think about it. You're superheroes. You have superhero skills. You're amazing.
I'm just looking for like animals, like lizards or snakes.
That's my new buddy. That's Emmett. He's back at school. He's back at swim lessons. He just wants to find some lizards up in this bitch. That's all he wants to do. And how important is CPR to this story? Something that you can do in your sleep. How important is it? Let's ask his mum.
It changed everything. I mean, it was the thing that literally, it's the reason that we still have him, because he was, from all that I could tell, dead. I mean, he was blue, he was not breathing, his heart wasn't beating, he was, I don't know what would have happened, and I don't like to think about what would have happened, but, you know, in the moment I didn't really think about what could have happened. I just knew exactly what to do. I think that if anyone is ever around water, whether it's your kids, whether you have kids, whether it's an adult, if you know that and you could step in and help them, then you could bring someone back. You could save someone in the same way that we did. I've asked myself so many times what I could have done as his parent to protect him from this, like how I could have prevented this, and there's been a lot of like coming to terms with accountability for me. I almost think that having more people around makes it more likely to happen, because there was a dozen adults within, you know, a couple feet of him. There were people in the pool, there were people around the pool. I was standing close by watching, and I just literally turned my head for what felt like, you know, a minute. It's silent, and it happens in an instant.
So thanks to Jason for that story, for Sadie, of course to Emmett, and thanks to you for the lives that you've saved. Thanks for you that have stood between the patient and suffering and said, not on my shift, not gonna happen. You really are the superheroes of medicine. You really are. You have to believe that. You have to believe that what you do matters every day, because it does, and I can't wait to tell the world about you guys, about what you do. And so let's let Emmett take it out, and I hope to see you in May next year and tell you some more stories. Take it away, Emmett. This is why we do it.
I'm just looking for like animals, like lizards or snakes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for what you do.